Guys, so today is a very exciting day because I am finally installing a downpipe on my RS3. Now I put this off for so long due to the complexity of installing a downpipe because you have to drop the subframe and remove the drive shaft. But today I think I'm going to do an alternative version of how to install it. I've seen some people on, no one has done a video on this, but there's some people on the forums. I think I'll put his name on the screen, but essentially, you're gonna take out the turbo and you can easily remove the stock downpipe and install an easier one, which is a single downpipe, which not like the factory that has a split Y, but it's just a single pipe, which is much easier to install and take off. But yeah, removing the turbo might be the easier way instead of dropping the subframe and removing the drive shaft. And if the drive shaft breaks, you're out of luck with about, I don't know, $2,000. So I'm gonna try to avoid that by just removing the turbo. I'm pretty sure it's not that bad of a thing to do. And if you're gonna upgrade your turbo, this is a much easier way to do it anyways. So I'm gonna go stage 2. I also have injectors. It's 980 cc's. It's the OEM Bosch ones. And this is an integrated engineering downpipe. This does come with a 200 cell cat. I will be like cutting up a 3.5 inch pipe from this distance here to make a catless version. And if it smells really bad, I'm gonna go with this one, but I'm already on E85. I'm gonna be running 034 stage 2 tune. I already have their stage 1 E85 and it's amazing, but I just wanted the sound. I know it's going from stage 1 to stage 2, not really a big difference. It's purely just for the sound, and that's what I'm looking for because I currently have an integrated engineering catback, and this pairs perfectly with their downpipe because it uses a single pipe instead of splitting to a 2Y. So just a little overview of the downpipe. So it is a single pipe downpipe, but it does have a cast elbow right here, which connects directly to the turbo. From here to here is cast. A lot of other downpipes with this same design is just stainless tubing. So it might sound a little bit tinny. This one is a little bit thicker, so it may sound a bit better. This does come with a 200 cell cat. Again, I will be removing it and putting just a straight 3.5 inch pipe. If it does smell pretty bad on E85, then I'm gonna put this on. Honestly, I'd rather run a catted one, but I just want the sound. So this downpipe does come with a single 3.5 inch to the catback. So if you have a stock catback, you're gonna need their Y adapter. Since I have the integrated engineering catback, it's just a straight 3.5 inch back to the muffler. So this is perfect. I won't need the Y adapter, even though I do have it if I need it. But yeah, and just have the clamps. They got some stickers. All the hardware is in here. Clamps. Yeah, pretty good construction. I love their fitment. Everything's good. Welds are amazing. Flex joint. Everything's quality. I can't wait to install it. So let's get it. So first thing I'm gonna do is remove the engine cover, the whole intake system, including this piece here, this hose, and this duct right here. And this one connects to my engine catch can. I will be removing that as well. Once that's done, I can get to the coil packs, the cam solenoids, and the heat shield for the turbo and the intake. All right, so the intake is off. Now I gotta get to this heat shield here, and there's another one actually below that covers the intake, the exhaust manifold. So I'll be taking both of them off. All right, so to take the heat shield off of the turbo, you can see the hex screws right there. There should be 4 or 5 of them where you can see it. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to take it out, but. So the exhaust manifold heat shield is a bit difficult to take off. I'm using this extension here. It's a 5mm hex, or I've been using a 27 or 25 Torx. This kind of grips it a bit better just to break it loose, and then I use this one to remove it. Basically, I've been using my phone as a mirror to put it like right here where my hand is, and I would feed this here with my phone and watch while I put it in. You gotta take your time with this one. It's pretty annoying. I believe there's 4 or 5, but yeah, just search up what an OEM exhaust manifold heat shield looks like, and you can see where the bolts are. I've also used these L-shaped hex for the tighter spots. It's much easier, and I just use one of these wrenches just to break it loose and then twist it by hand. Yeah, if you have one of these that is just a straight one like this one, it'd be much easier than having this, because this is a bit some tight areas you won't be able to get inside. I'm using my phone as a selfie, and I got it pretty much in there, and then now I can get my hex or my wrench and just break the bolt loose. Yeah, there you go. Man, this heat shield is a pain in the ass, bro. One of the screws, I accidentally rounded the hex. So what I did was I hammered a flathead that almost doesn't fit, and I hammered it inside, and I was able to twist it off. My God, I tried so many things, but yeah, just try that first. This was the little screw I was talking about. I tried so many things, but this flathead hammering it inside helped me, so try that out. All right, so I finally was able to get this heat shield off the turbo. Now you can see the exhaust manifold right there. So next, all I gotta do is take out the coil packs, the cam sensor, one sensor down there, and the O2 sensors, V-band, and this right here for the engine catch can. And then we should be able to take out the downpipe. All right, so I'm gonna be disconnecting these. There. I believe maybe this one as well. Yikes. There you go. Poke this one out. And maybe this one as well. So since I'm removing the coil packs for extra space, I've always had issues, like I never knew how to open these, but the way I found it is just to pop this out. Once you hear it click, then you can just pop out the coil pack like that. Some people say to pinch it down and squeeze it out. I never had good luck with that, so I just slightly push down and pop it out until you hear the click, like that. Make sure you hear the click, and just push out the, that's it. All right, so next I'm gonna disconnect these sensors right here for the connectors for the cam solenoid, and just pop all these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so to get the connector out, I used a flathead to pop this red piece up. Then you pinch the black one right here, if it can focus, sorry. Right there, pinch it and just pop it up. All right, so next to get the camshaft solenoids, all these 5 out, I gotta get a T25 right there. There's 2 on each side, and I'm gonna number them just so I know which is which. All right, so I just removed all of the camshaft solenoid, and I put tape on it just to cover it. You also want to remove this hose right here for the turbo inlet, and this connector right here. Just took out both the O2 sensors, and I believe I have to raise the car up to remove the turbo inlet. From that, I can remove the bolts and the nuts for the manifold, and remove the boost pipe from the outside of the turbo, and maybe I gotta remove the mid pipes, disconnect everything from the exhaust, and some of the lines for the turbos. I have to remove that in order to take out the turbo. All right, guys, so turbo inlet is out, the mid pipes are out. Now it's just time to take out the downpipe and remove the turbo pretty much. Whew, the turbo inlet is a bitch, but it is what it is. So the V-band clamp is off. I got most of the nuts at the top of the exhaust manifold. I still need to get to the bottom one, but it's a bit loose right now. But let's see after I get the exhaust manifold if I can pull this downpipe off. All right, it's nighttime. I just had to take a break, but got all of the nuts for the exhaust manifold, and I'm going to be taking off all the oil lines and the coolant lines for the turbo, and then I should be able to pull it off. Downpipe, it's a bit off already, but I'm excited to take it off now. All right, so I'm currently draining all the fluids, the oil and the coolant, and now I think it's time to take out the turbo. Alright, so I finally got the turbo out. It was a bit of a pain trying to get this right here off, but I got all the hoses off. Now it's time to fish out this downpipe. Hopefully this is much easier than taking out the drive shaft. So far it's been taking up the whole day. I've been taking my time. I'm pretty sure both ways are difficult. It's just, I don't know, whichever way you prefer, but. Alrighty, so the downpipe is finally out. It was super easy. You just gotta take one of the brackets right there, this bracket here, and you gotta wiggle it out. Just push the cat forward this way, and you can wiggle these pipes right here. The driver's side is gonna be difficult because it hits right here and here, but the passenger side is very easy. So you just gotta have two people to help you. And yeah, maneuver it out, super easy. Now I just gotta install the new downpipe and put everything back together. Alright, so since integrated engineering downpipe is just a single pipe, it's very easy to fish through. I just pushed it from the top and went through. Now I'm gonna put everything back together. So, whew. Overall, I think it's a lot of steps, but if you want to remove the drive shaft and you're scared of damaging it and breaking it, and you want to drop the subframe or remove all the heat shield, then this could be a better alternative. Although this isn't easy. But honestly, I would recommend for downpipes, if you're like me who wants to DIY everything, I would do DIY everything except for the downpipe. Whoops, and just have a shop do it. But this was a good learning experience, and I didn't have to remove the drive shaft, just the turbo. And turbo swapping is fairly easy. I just have to refill the coolant, put a little bit more oil, and yeah, flash to stage 2. I also got to do the port injection to run the stage 2. Because I'm on E85. But yeah,